Does porn have a negative effect on society? Pre-vid? Yes, my nigga. You gotta think about the kids. You feel me? Now, if you do porn and you plan on having kids, you're already selfish. You're already selfish. Let me tell you why. Today's day and age, motherfuckers is getting bullied for the littlest shit. If you have a kid in this society, knowing you do porn and you don't give a fuck, just say, already take as many pictures of your kid as possible and already get the post ready, because your kid might, I'm just saying. Alright, let's lock in. You mean? Let's lock in.
So if I don't watch porn once a month,
Oh, my shit ain't even on. Chill. Go back to the default view. Let's start over. If big man right here say he beat his meat, I believe him because he big as shit. But that's the only reason why I believe him.
So if I don't watch porn once a month, I'm going to be happier.
Probably.
I totally
Because your brain will start working in a more optimal mode, and you'll be like, I didn't even know I could be this.
What's more optimal now than somebody who has 2 degrees successful for themselves can pay off everything that they want?
Welcome to Middle Ground. I'm Ryan, your host. To the left, we have Team NoFap, and to the right, porn stars. This should be interesting. Host. To the left, we have Team NoFap, and to the right, porn.
Whoever's fucking big man right here. Whoever's having sex with big man right here. You're weirdo. Yo, let me not even say that. Damn, I'm starting off hectic. Damn, me, man. Shout out to big boy, man. Facts.
Porn stars. This should be interesting. Porn has a net negative effect on society. Agreeers, please step forward.
Okay, it's really interesting. So I was thinking about it, and it seems like for some of them, I don't want to, put words in their mouth, but it sounds like they're after it for just like a chunk of the change, right? And so like, what does that mean, like on the healthy side of like the other end, like the consumer, right? And I don't think it will, serve people as a whole in a positivity light, rather than they're just serving themselves. Like, I don't know if that, makes sense, but I guess like my basis is like, it doesn't help serve the world in a positive way. It just serves themselves in a positive way.
Well, are you saying that porn performers do the world a disservice?
I would say so.
Got it.
Phones in their pocket.
Oh, shit.
They...
Damn, that's what I get.
Thinking about it, and it seems like for some of them, I don't want to, put words in their mouth, but it sounds like they're after it for just like a chunk of the change, right? And so like, what does that mean, like on the healthy side of like the other end, like the consumer, right? And I don't think it will, serve people as a whole in a positivity light, rather than they're just serving themselves. Like, I don't know if that, makes sense, but I guess like my basis is like, it doesn't help serve the world in a positive way. It just serves themselves in a positive way.
Well, are you saying that porn performers do the world a disservice?
I would say so.
Got it.
I'd say it's like overall, like if it was a ratio of positive to negative, I would say it's 10% positive. I feel like the rest of it is like the 90% is negative.
I was going to say, yeah, I would agree with what he's saying about it being a net negative on society. We have higher rates of depression and anxiety in younger men, a lot of which can be associated to compulsive sexual behavior. A lot of these men lose meaning in their lives. We create a culture starting in the 1960s where sex is a transactional thing, where there's no biological imperative to have sex with somebody who you are connected to in a relationship or in a spiritual sense. So sex becomes a transaction between two people. And I think just in basic economic terms, if there's more sex available, then sex is less valuable. So.
Got it.
I am a cognitive neuroscientist, and I have written a best-selling book called Mind Over Explicit Matter on porn addiction recovery. I call it the silent tsunami, because basically that brain dysregulation that happens in a person's brain, which is below the surface. That's how a tsunami starts. There's a crack in the ocean floor. Nobody knows it's happening. But then it creates mental and physical health issues, which there's a significant rise in anxiety and depression. There's also what I call porn-induced ADHD, because scientific studies have shown that not only is the structure of the brain impacted, but function also. So people can't focus, their productivity decreases. Physically, it leads to erectile dysfunction, which is destroying people's relationships.
Hold on. Let me turn the air off real quick. If you a nigga that gets sad because you can't beat your meat at a certain amount of time, or if you a nigga that gets sad because you're not getting no sex, I'm not gonna lie. Nigga, you gotta reevaluate. That's actually loser activity, nigga. No way you feel that way. No way you feel that way. You mean? Yo, what the fuck? Oh my God.
Can you say a little bit more about physical change to the brain?
Yeah, so there's a study that shows that there is basically the reward centers are smaller, where you would think they'd be larger, but it's because of that desensitization in the reward center, and then that's in the midbrain. The reward pathways feed forward to the frontal lobe. Those pathways are impacted too, so people can't think.
Shall we bring the disagreeers?
Let's do it.
Please join us.
Disagreeers?
I mean, I feel like it's not our fault that y'all can't push the computer away. Like, we providing a service and doing a job. We're not forcing anyone to watch porn. That's a decision that you make on your own. We don't force anybody to watch.
Do you think it's a net positive or a net negative?
I mean, I think it's a positive thing.
What's positive about it that you believe brings the service to the
because you have the option of being able to watch it or not watch it. You have that option yourself to do that. It makes you feel good. Like, it makes you release. It makes you feel all kinds of things, arousement in sexuality. It helps you be more confident about your body. For me, porn has been very positive to me, especially being a plus-size boy in the gay porn industry.
Nigga, get in the gym. You want confidence, my nigga? Get your big ass in the gym. You mean? Oh my God, this nigga. Yo, wait. Oh my God, bro. We cooked, nigga. We done. We done. This nigga just said being in gay porn help him feel more confident. Oh my God, we're cooked. We're done, my nigga. It's over with. Judgment Day is definitely upon us, my nigga. It's over for us.
I deal with people always coming at me in the industry because of my size. And in gay porn, it's not really acceptable to be a plus-size boy. So for me, porn has helped me be more confident in my body and stuff like that. And I know people who watch my porn, who are like me, come to me all the time and say, watching your porn has made me more confident.
It taught me sexual
That
experience.
nigga lying.
Going into 5th grade, they taught you sex. A boy and a girl has sex, but I didn't know what that looked like, so
Dan Dangler?
sure, it could be bad. It could teach you crazy things or whatever, but for me personally, it taught me a lot of things. Like, I'm not gonna go ask my mom, how do you give a blowjob? Or like my friends at a young age when I have a boyfriend, like that's something that it's honestly a research point in some aspects for some people.
Honestly, I would characterize that as a net negative because that is, science now shows that that's how porn is how most kids are learning about sex, and it's hypersexualized. And we know there's an increase in violence. And so now we have young people, punching, choking, anal sex is up, and we have young people now.
Ain't nothing wrong with a little bit of choking, Granny. Ain't nothing wrong with a little bit of choking, Granny. You got locked in, see? She probably single. You mean? Ain't nothing. As long as that shit not fatal, it's alright. You mean? But, I'm not gonna lie. In the U.S., we do got sex ed. We got sex education. But motherfuckers ain't really taking that shit. You mean? And it's scarce because I don't think certain curriculums is having it. Which is weird. But you know what though? You know what I learned in sex ed? If a shorty give head, that's still a body. You mean? And ever since then, I ain't hear about that shit ever again. Motherfuckers just made that shit extinct. Ever since they told the shorties if you give head, that shit count as a +1, I never heard of that shit again, my nigga. That shit lasted for like 1 year. That was it. No bullshit.
Now
But I
learning
don't
that
see
this is
anal
healthy.
sex as violent.
Well, it can be, but the violent piece of porn isn't just anal sex, but it covers kind of this, again, continuum overarching. But now with kids having their phones in their pocket, they don't have the opportunity to learn from healthier ways. I think that is the unique perspective that I've had because I wasn't addicted to porn, yet I was very close to someone that was. So having an outside view plus having the education to understand it, I work with a lot of people. They don't have the awareness until they do. But usually that's because they have significant mental and physical health issues.
I don't believe that like everyone who watches a porn video from their first time watching it is going to now have a problem. I think that there are plenty of people who can make that distinction.
Most people do if they continue to watch porn. So, I call it the seeds of addiction, but of course seeds have to be watered. If you don't water seeds, they don't grow. But for people who develop a habit, and there's scientific studies that show consuming porn 1 time a month is still leads to compulsive behavior.
So who's not addicted to porn?
People who don't watch it.
That's it. Like you can't
most
healthily
people,
take this
so
in
when
at
it
all.
comes to brains, it's the same with alcohol. Most people who consume alcohol regularly do have a dependency
But
on it.
there's no possible have a beer, put it, and then that was
For some people, but there's tolerance building, escalation over time, and that goes back to your point, Logan, that people don't
got a
know
point, though.
until they know. But most people are not aware until basically there's the straw that breaks the camel's back.
I personally don't think most people have an addiction to it. I think that what is being considered an addiction on this side of the spectrum is not
Damn,
considered
that's a
an addiction
long-ass
on this
column,
side.
12 minutes.
Just
There's
because we watch,
definition.
Oh, no, 5
yeah,
minutes
just
left.
because we watch something maybe once a month or whatever doesn't necessarily. To me, I'm more addicted to my phone, to food, to everything else besides that. Like that's the least addictive thing.
Well, there's
in my life.
qualifiers to the definition of addiction, and then I tell
some
people
motherfuckers cook.
just try to
Yeah,
stop
yeah, yeah,
watching.
yeah. They're
You don't
done.
even have to like tick the 6 boxes because most people who consume porn, they might be able to go a little while, but they will have withdrawal symptoms. They'll have an increase in anxiety, anger, irritability. Up and down. It's about like there's dopamine in the system, then there's a dopamine deficit. So
if I don't watch porn once a month, I'm going to be happier.
yeah, probably.
I totally
Until you see the other side.
People say that to me all
I've
the
been
time.
on every side of things. I
They
had a
don't
purity
believe it
ring
until
growing
they
up. I've been
experience
on
it. Because your brain will start working in a more optimal mode, and you'll be like, I didn't even know I could
What's
be
more
this more.
optimal now than somebody who has 2 degrees, successful for themselves, can pay off everything that they want? How is that not in itself?
Well, it's about, back to
Low key, that argument where like porn helped me pay for everything. Yo, the one thing I think about, motherfuckers like on some genuine shit, not even on some trying to clip farm shit. Motherfuckers genuinely gotta think about, yo, what are you gonna do when you gotta answer to somebody for that. Like, that should help you now, but you gotta answer to that though. Like, what are you gonna do when that time come, gang? Cause that's GG's. I know people ain't think about that shit on a regular, but like, damn, you can't not think about it. Yeah? That shit crazy, bro. I don't know. Like, imagine using the money that you showed your, like, you mean? You popping that pussy every day. You get 100 bands a month off of popping that shit. And like, I don't know. I don't know, gang. I don't know. That argument just don't make sense to me. Yeah, that shit crazy.
your focus, and I don't know what you have going
Yeah.
on, but it's about that brain map. If it's green, the way it's about your state, and so your state changes. So when people work with me, they'll say, I didn't even know I could be calmer. I didn't know I could be more focused. I didn't know I could have less anxiety. I don't feel depressed. My sexual arousal for my partner is through the roof in a way that it never was before. So
No, and I see, like, I think but I think it isn't a one-size-fits-all type of thing. I think that there are plenty of people, like, it's going to vary person to person. I think that there are a lot of people, because even if we take away pornography, if we look at something like something like the keto diet, like, there's plenty of people who will be, okay, like, you can find a lot of evidence backing, okay, you'll lose weight on this, you'll sleep better, this, and that. And then there's other people who are like, it didn't work for me, I had headaches, I had this, and both can be true. So is that not the same thing? Why is there no possible way to have a healthy relationship with pornography, with masturbation?
it goes back to the
That's not
dopamine
you
dependency
can have a healthy
of the
relationship with porn,
super
though.
normal stimulus.
But
of
there's so
porn.
much that gives you dopamine. Like, people people get that from work. They get unhealthy an unhealthy relationship with
They
as
get,
far as
well,
like
dopamine
getting
from
more
a hug.
You can be addicted
that.
to work, but
Yeah.
the dopamine from work is significantly lower. It's not a supernormal stimulus. It's a normal stimulus. So like in real life, probably the highest normal stimulus is like skydiving. You know, it's like your system is completely jacked up, you're overstimulated. That is probably in real life the highest level stimulus you could get.
But how can we get these people that are really compulsive and have addictions, how can we get these people help?
My answer would obviously be organized religion, specifically Catholicism. Now, that's obviously just me, but I think it's clear that we've departed from a unifying ethic that brings everybody together. And then there's people on the fringes that basically just think that, well, pleasure is the best thing possible, or power is the best thing possible, and we've lost the thing that puts everybody at the center, that brings everybody together.
Are you saying everyone should be religious?
In utopia, sure, yeah.
Okay, so that's your utopia. Mine is not.
Yeah, no.
Well, I would, to build on that,
nightmare
I
for
would
me.
believe that everyone should have like some sort of core values to not serve other humans, but just to bring positivity to the world. And that's why I stepped forward, because I didn't believe that, being a porn star, and I wanted to be one at one point. Like I actually got that deep in the game, and I was like, wow,
You still can.
I'm all good, man.
They want you to be Catholic. He wants you to be a porn star.
We found the middle ground.
Right.
That nigga
Thing I don't
recruiting?
like
Fuck
is
wrong with
when
him?
a religious person tries to tell me what I need to do with my life.
Yeah, no,
That's
I
my
agree.
problem.
I agree. I think people push other people away from the church, or just like whatever religion, right? I feel like that's just a relationship that you need to have. But one of the greatest things that you can do is pray, or just
I do.
manifest, right? So no, that's such a great thing. It's one of God's
judging,
gifts to
no
us,
judging,
right?
no
And so,
judging.
can one of you tell me like 3 core values you have for being a porn star?
Core values, I want to make money. I want to feel good about what I'm doing, and I want to make other people feel good as well. That's just off the top of my head.
Making people feel good in like a pleasurable sense of masturbation.
Yeah, sure. If that's one of the ways, then sure, why not?
I can't necessarily think of a lot of ways that are probably going to be a good argument as far as why it's necessarily a positive thing. But I just don't view it as something that's negative in the right person's hand, I guess. Porn itself as a form of entertainment, I think the fact that it is just something that is out there, that if you choose to watch it, you can, because you have the freedom to, is a positive thing.
I think that the conversation between a porn star and a religious man is so far off. I think it's so far off. I gotta go back to what he said. I think if somebody want to transition from porn to not watching porn, I think they got to converse with somebody that's in the middle of that. Cause a religious person can be rough. They can be too a little bit hard on. You mean talking to the person that's consuming porn or that's actively into porn, that can push somebody away. I ain't gonna lie. An overly religious person can push somebody away. You mean somebody that's I wouldn't even say too strict, but an extremist. You mean somebody that don't see nothing but the bad and anything else besides religion, that can push somebody away. You mean now, if you somebody that just understand, the people that have the best conversation are somebody that probably lived through the shit. You can't just talk to a motherfucker that's overly religious, because you fuck around one slap the nigga. You mean? But let me tap back in on what main man said. Cause
Don't view it as something that's I can't necessarily think of a lot of ways that are probably going to be a good argument as far as why it's necessarily a positive thing. But I just don't view it as something that's negative in the right person's hand, I guess. Porn itself as a form of entertainment, I think the fact that it is just something that is out there, that if you choose to watch it, you can, because you have the freedom to, is a positive thing.
I said a question for you. You said earlier that you can't necessarily think of any reasons right now as to why porn would be beneficial to society.
Yeah, but I also, yes, but
Does that concern you at all?
no, because I don't think it needs to be. I don't necessarily think video games, I can't think of a lot of ways that video games are positive other than it just being fun, mindless entertainment.
slow down, buddy. Slow down, my nigga. Slow the fuck down. Video games are mentally stimulating. That shit is almost similar to caffeine, my nigga. Put yourself in the right Call of Duty lobby. Put yourself in the right Call of Duty lobby. That bitch be jumping. That shit gonna wake you up better than any type of coffee. Any type of game you genuinely interested in, you're locked in for sure. You mean Chase Arama 1242069? Appreciate the follow, Genki. Feel me? Yeah, I don't know what he talking about. He talking that bullshit though. He was good though. Yo, what's the word, Juroski?
Right.
I think there's a place in a functioning society for mindless entertainment to just be okay in moderation. And I don't think it's selfish either to want pure entertainment sometimes.
All right, this has been really interesting, and I think we have more topics to get to. So why don't we get to the next topic?
Sounds good.
Masturbation has many health benefits. Agreeers, please step forward.
Wait, what? Hold on, wait. This nigga on the no fap side, but he stepped up for that? Huh? I don't get it. Yeah, send it in the Discord.
Well, you know what? Since you were hesitant, I want to start with you.
I just want to say something like, okay, I don't even think about like porn or masturbation anymore, but sometimes when you do get that idea, you know what I mean, and you ain't got no person to talk to, all of a sudden you start going crazy, like, what the fuck? Ah, shit, I'm horny, you know what I mean? Like the blue balls be kicking in, you know what I mean, right? But the thing with me is, I refuse to like still masturbate, even though it's hurting. So it get to the point, like sometimes I go crazy, like, so I gotta go meet somebody, like, oh shit, you know what I mean, right? So, but when I let that out, all of a sudden I come back to my normal sense.
Post that clarity.
So I will say it helps that I ain't got to deal with the pain of pelvic cramps and blue balls. I'll give you that much. And if I remember right, ain't you supposed to nut to avoid like prostate cancer or something? Ain't you supposed to?
I'm not a
We're
doctor.
not the scientists.
I don't know.
Goofy ass nigga in the chair. He don't even know what he talking about. First of all, you don't get blue balls from just being horny. You get blue balls from being turned on and not getting no cheeks. You mean? If that's the case, a nigga would have blue balls every day. Niggas wake up on rock every day. You mean? I don't know what the fuck he talking about. That nigga stuck there for nothing.
Ain't you supposed to?
I'm not a
We're
doctor.
not the scientists.
I don't know.
Oh my wow. I mean, I feel like there's nothing wrong with masturbation. I feel like masturbation is very healthy mentally and everything. It's nothing wrong with busting 10 nuts a day and doing all the other things and stuff like that. It's good for your health and mentally, and it relaxes your body. So I feel like masturbation is nothing wrong with that. I mean,
Who the fuck is busting 10 nuts in a day? Oh my god, this nigga, yo! Who the fuck is this nigga, yo? Iron Man? Who the fuck is this nigga? He been saying outlandish shit all day. For the 13 minutes that I've been watching this shit, this nigga been outlandish. You mean? This nigga on a roll. Nigga said 10 nuts in a day. If you bust 10 nuts in a day, my nigga, you actually might have to get checked. No bullshit. Cause that's insanity.
even chronic masturbators. So yeah.
Quick question. I want to over talk. Can you bust 10 nuts in a day?
You know what I'm
I can
saying?
bust multiple.
Oh yeah,
But
he's
I
a
know-
porn star.
Well, I know y'all got super
We can all bust 10 nuts in a day.
Man, I got like
Women
3
don't
tops
count,
and I'm
though.
out of it, man. Go ahead, though, man. That is crazy, but go ahead.
You could say, the opposing side could say that maybe it's desensitizing you to real life sex, but for me personally, it's only given me more ideas and been an inspiration for, crazier times. So I think as long as you're doing it in, a healthy amount, whatever that is to you, should be okay.
I mean, as long as you could go to work. That's the only thing that matters. As long as you could go to work.
What if
that's
it is
good.
your work?
Yeah, but
It's two birds, one stone.
Yeah, I would say like the average person, like the non-compulsive masturbator. For one, I don't think it's anyone's business what you do, and then two, I also think like if you don't have a problem with it or you don't feel like you have a problem with it, it's not affecting your day-to-day life. I think it's completely natural. I think humans have been doing it forever.
I've always had
I
a
fought with
really
bro.
healthy relationship to masturbation. So obviously I'm doing it more now, but like before I was a porn star, I would maybe do it like not even once a week. So when I'd feel that like, I guess, urge or the horniness, I'd just go do it. And then if it's in the morning, I feel more energized somehow. And then if it's at night before I go to bed, I'm just like out like a light. I don't have to like take melatonin. And then another part of it for me has been kind of spiritual, because if you know about like the chakras, the sacral chakra is all about your sexuality and your creativity and your emotions. So using that kind of as like a manifestation technique. I was going to say masturbation. But I've learned that like a woman harnessing her sexual energy and like using that is really powerful. And it just makes me feel like so creative, and I have so many ideas, and I feel so sexy.
But as porn stars, we want y'all to bust y'all nuts and stuff because that's how we get paid.
Fascinating. Let's bring in the.
I mean, that's not
I'm learning so much. I'm learning so much from
Tell
you.
me you're not a porn star.
Man, highlight of my day. All right, disagreeers. Thoughts?
What do you believe that you manifest when you masturbate? Like, what do you think? Do you think nothing, or like?
I think
it's
my life.
subconscious?
You can manifest money, you can manifest experiences. Just that like the creative energy within your sacral chakra. And if you don't know anything about spirituality, you're probably gonna look at me like I'm crazy. And it's completely separate, not completely separate from science. Like there are parts of manifestation that have to do with like scientific basis.
Yeah, well, I love the idea.
So you telling me if I beat my meat and I manifest $1 million, that bitch gonna come tonight? I don't know what the fuck she into, but I might have to go tap into that. You mean? She tell me, so you manifest life. Imagine a nigga beating his meat just thinking of $1 million. Nigga, I'm gonna wanna grind. I'm gonna fucking, you mean? What, bro? Yo, this shit actually is. Yo, this shit hilarious, bro. What?
Of chakras. And chakras are actually energy centers in your body that are aligned with where there's more nerve energy. But when you overstimulate a chakra, then they're no longer balanced. And that is an issue with overstimulating the sacral chakra, because then it takes away from all the others.
Okay.
And, you know, going back to the idea of
Yeah, she the last
hypersexuality,
airbender.
it accidentally and inadvertently puts you in a hypersexual place where, you know, then it feels empowering to you, but it might not necessarily be balanced.
Okay.
What the fuck, yo? Yo, why she just match energy like that? Yo, W fucking doctor. Damn. She said keep doing that shit. That shit not balanced, bitch. You not manifesting Nathan. Fuck wrong with her. Look at her man. Look at her mid. Oh shit.
But from my
Damn.
perspective, I'm not like doing it every, like it's like when I feel like that like energy starting to circulate in my body, like I'm gonna do something with it. I'm not like every day being like, I need to like hypersexualize myself. I need to do this. Like I just feel like I have a very balanced relationship
Why
with my
she
job
lying
and then like
now?
my own personal masturbation. So it's like hasn't like unbalanced my life. Like I
Do you feel like your job has taken away from sexuality with another person?
No, I've dated not plenty of men, like while I've been a porn star, but the times that I have, like I've really enjoyed the experiences with them.
Actually, I found that through shooting porn, it's enhanced my personal relationship with a significant other. But I come home to my person, you know, and so that's my person. So when you have sex with them, it's emotional, it's sensual, you love them. But when you're having sex on set, it's, you know, it's a job, you're acting, you're, you know, whatever. So personally, for me, it's made the two separate, but I do know men who have a hard time in their sex life who do shoot porn, but because they're using their dick so much.
Yeah. And I love that distinction.
Maybe I didn't hear this shit right. Let me go back.
Oh, it's sensual, and a significant other, but I come home to my person, you know, and so that's my person. So when you have sex with them, it's emotional, it's sensual, you love them. But when you're having sex on set, it's, you know, it's a job, you're acting, you're, you know, whatever. So personally, for me, it's made the two separate, but I do know men who have a hard time in their sex life who do shoot porn, but because they're using their dick so much.
Yeah. And I love that distinction.
So she said, if I'm thinking of this properly, she said having sex with other men made her feel more empowered and more emotional to her man at home. We're cooked. If I'm not mistaken, that's what she just said. Imagine asking your shorty, babe, hey babe, how was work today? She's like, nice, babe, I got this BBC today. That shit was amazing. Nigga, I'm finna sink in my chair. That shit would have been like, nigga, I'm finna crash. That shit gonna be hurting. What? And then you want me to crack you? Hell nah, bro. Oh fuck no, nigga. Oh my god, bro. This shit actually insane, nigga.
Because what you're talking about is the artificiality of, your job at performance.
Skip this shit.
Yeah. And then you being able to experience that sensual experience with a partner. From my perspective, it's about the consumer that might not have that distinction, because when the dopamine's all linked to consuming pornography, then they're not able to, have that kind of that dichotomy that you're able to have.
I do think that there is a link between the morality and the health. So, I mean, I just don't, I think it's too simplistic to say that masturbation or masturbation to pornography specifically, sure, you get oxytocin, you get dopamine, you get serotonin. Okay, there's a ton of stuff that gives you those three chemicals, perhaps in higher doses, that are terrible for you. Things that anyone with sense would say, we probably shouldn't be doing that. So I think that just, having one facet of, all right, this is healthy because we get feel-good chemicals.
But I'm curious, as far because the prompt being what it was just objectively, masturbation is healthy. That was the prompt. So what, not like taking porn out of it, what makes masturbation unhealthy in your opinion?
Yeah, Logan, I love what you said, actually, is that, masturbation in and of itself, I don't know that it has health benefits, and that prostate cancer thing is the world's oldest excuse for people who have
that's some bullshit.
Masturbation.
But it's true.
It don't.
Like,
You knew he was talking some bullshit. That old ass 1980s different strokes haircut. This nigga is, he not even in this time. He talking some bullshit.
no, actually, I've looked into the research, and people who compulsively masturbate have less healthy prostates as
Nigga
they
got
age.
no fade.
So the big distinction is compulsive or not compulsive. But when pornography is in the mix, masturbation becomes compulsive because it's linked to all that dopamine again.
Like, this is the way I see it, right? So you have a spiritual cup, you have a mental cup, and you have a physical cup. And I feel like it drained, or me masturbating would drain one of those. I couldn't distinct which one it would be, but I just realized, like, it would spill out the water in each of those cups into different areas of my life, and that would lead to negative things. So I guess, like, a question I would have for you is, like, do you think that your industry serves people in a healthy way? Someone like
Yeah, I mean, no, and I feel that, and I think it's a person-to-person basis. I don't think my industry necessarily serves in any specific way. I don't think it's necessarily. It's a video. At the end of, like, we made a video, and then how you consume that product is however you got to deal with that.
And that's where the compulsive masturbation piece comes in, right? It does desensitize the brain, the dopamine receptors, and going back to that connection piece, it connects a person to themselves, right? Like to a screen in their hand.
Okay.
Porn is inherently anti-feminist. Agreeers, please step forward.
Well, so, I mean, I'm assuming that we're using the definition that feminism is for equal rights for men and women. I think that it sort of has to be anti-feminist in a way, because if we're talking about feminism in the context of women as fully fleshed human beings that have inherent value, I think it does the exact opposite of that. I think that it diminishes, I mean, more specifically women, but I think everyone who's taking part in the pornography is diminished to nothing more than a sexual object, then essentially a warm body to masturbate with. Wow, the great success of feminism is that now I can sell my body to the highest bidder online.
Let's bring everybody else in. We can have a discussion about.
I don't know about sell my body to that. You know what? He might have a small point. He might have a point. You mean? Now, the whole anti-feminist thing, I don't even really know. Cause I gotta hear this shit. That's what I'm saying. I don't think it's gender specific. But I gotta hear what niggas gotta say about this, because it don't make the whole anything gender, it wouldn't make sense to me. You mean? I gotta hear this shit. Porn is a job though. That shit is a job. You mean? And you know what you signing up for once you put yourself on that shit. You mean? Shout out to Mia Khalifa. Try to get out that shit. No, you stuck in that shit forever, dickhead.
This, and I look forward to hearing what y'all think of as
what's the word,
in this
broski?
context.
I would love.
Oh, go for it.
I got text
You don't have to wait to be called on.
So, as a woman, speaking about feminism, we're bringing up the definition of feminism and saying it was having equal rights. If anything, women have more rights than men in the porn industry, especially on like large sets. I get a person to follow me around all day, make sure I'm comfortable. I also, you know, everything's always about the woman. I get paid twice as much as the man on the set. Yeah, so that's my personal opinion on it. I think if anything, it lifts women up and gives them a platform to have confidence and.
Yeah, women dominate that whole entire industry. They make millions, more than the guys do. But the gay performers, they make money too. So, but women dominate the whole entire porn industry and make a killing.
You're assuming that me doing porn is only like having society view me as a sexual object, when in reality, I have a whole life outside of porn. Like, yes, it's a big part of my life, but I also, I make YouTube videos. I paint, I read, I do all of these different things. I go to the beach. I'm a whole person, but just the general concept of just seeing women as sexual objects just because they're on camera having sex, I think that's a big issue.
You obviously are a...
Let me tell you why niggas see that. Anytime you ask a woman, what are niggas good for? These niggas ain't good for shit. All they do is look at me as like a fuck buddy, or they literally say it themselves. You mean? So I feel like damn, I forgot what I felt like. Damn. Yo, L short-term memory, gang. But no, for real. Yo, all right, look. Damn. All right, let me go back to what she said. Shit.
Concept of just seeing women as sexual objects just because they're on camera having sex.
Okay, now I can see what she mean, but if a nigga see you on a YouTube or Instagram, or let's say on P-Hub, you feel me? Tasty Blacks. You mean? Let's see a nigga see you on there getting yammed on. If a nigga see you in 9 times out of 10, if a nigga watching porn and he be in shit, the nigga think about yamming you. So if he see you in public, he not gonna think, oh my God, look at that beautiful piece of work. The nigga gonna think, you know what I would do to you if I hit that shit from the back? So, in a way, we are I'm not gonna say we, that shit crazy, but niggas is kind of objectifying you once they click on your name. What you mean? How does my mind? Cause let's say right, I'm on a mission to beat my meat. You know, niggas I find the best video ever. You mean this is all extra shit. Let's say shorty right here in the green, she is on the video that I consider the best video ever. You mean? And let's just no diddy. This shit is gonna sound very, very gay. But let's just say the nigga that's yamming her, I'm doing your ass. It's weird. The nigga that's yamming her is putting in work on him. I'm imagining no gay shit. It's gonna get gayer by the minute. I'm imagining that I'm that nigga yamming her. You feel me? Yo, chill with the jokes, yo. It's gonna get gayer by the minute, man. I'm telling you. By the way, I'm explaining this shit. But let's just think. You feel me? Open mind. Keep an open mind, Genki. I'm imagining that I'm that nigga. I'm in his position. You feel me? And I'm yamming her. Now, if I see shorty in person, the same shorty that I was just watching, well, you mean being my meat? I'm not gonna think, damn, like, yo, like, she really look beautiful, you feel me? Like, I want to see if I can take her out. I'ma think, damn, what can I get a piece of that? You mean, like, can I get a piece of that? And you know, should he be posting the vids, like, yeah, I just, you know what I'm saying, I just fucked my number one fan. I fuck Rag like a number one fan. Just so I can get a piece of that. So it's like, you mean, objectifying in a way, yeah. But like, you gotta understand why it go like that. You feel me? From her point of view, I understand what she talking about. But from the, that's what I'm saying. You always gotta wait until the end. But from the consumer's point of view, you gotta understand. You feel me? I feel like a nigga, if a nigga watch porn, he not trying to find his wife. You feel me? Especially if he see you in person, then it's like, you mean? Hopefully it made sense, but to me it made sense.
Sex, I think that's like a big issue.
You obviously are a full, complete person outside of what you do in front of the camera for pornography. I obviously would agree with that across the board. So you're just a means to an end for these men who are desperate at home and want to get off. And they think that you're not a real, full human being. They just think that you're a body that's doing something attractive. And
I'm not saying she's an object. She's not an object. 100% she's a person. But she can. It's a possibility that she can get objectified. You mean as a sex partner? To say someone is an object is low-key disrespectful. You mean to say she's just an object is disrespectful? But like, you can't expect yourself to not get objectified. If that makes sense.
Not with OnlyFans these
You're
days.
assuming that everyone's having the same experience when they're masturbating to porn. So for me, like, not only with like the Pornhub and all the studios that I've shot for, all these men that are coming to me, I feel like I do pretty well with attracting people that are just so loving. They make me feel so seen and celebrated as a person. I just had my 3-year porniversary yesterday. So I made a post about that, obviously, and all these comments of like, I love you, like I've loved getting to know you. And it's just been such an eye-opening experience seeing like all these men who you might have that assumption that they just masturbate to porn because they're just trying to like come. But a lot of men I come in contact with, they're like widowed, they don't have a wife anymore.
This is a huge
like
one.
It's just a lot of different scenarios. So yeah, I just don't like making that big assumption about men.
Yeah. And the interesting thing, I think, from the science, because my perspective is informed by not only neuroscience, but I work with thousands of men who have recovered or are in the process of recovering from porn, is that intimacy that they feel towards you isn't true intimacy. So like when a widower reaches out to you and now is building a false intimacy or distorted intimacy, then, you know, like Asher was saying, then he's not going back into the world to meet a real human being that he could make the connection with. And what I think about, like, in terms of, you know, the porn industry and feminism, it's more like the authenticity and healthy purpose, and, you know, really going out there and doing the thing that, you know, is in your heart that you want to add to the world.
Is it possible, just a follow-up question, is it possible for that there to be a bridge where it is okay? Where, like, say with the widower example, where there's is it always bad?
I think so, based on the science too, because science shows that basically then those neural pathways are being fired up towards the high level of dopamine from pornography, which makes it almost impossible for most people, and this is the compulsive addictive nature, for those pleasure pathways to be linked to real world experiences. That's what all the neuroscience shows, is that these pathways in the brain are just being traversed back towards porn. Very difficult to, you know, then build pleasure in real life.
I feel like everything ain't about science though. The first part she had me, cause like sometimes when niggas do mess with a shorty, that post-nut clarity will come down on you fucking hard. You mean? Depending on who you messing with. You mean? If a nigga mess with a shorty, let's say the nigga just straight up horny. You know what I'm saying? And he yam the shorty. After he nut, the nigga might be laying there like, this shorty ain't even fucking bad. Like, what the fuck was I thinking? I'm never coming over here again. Whole time, shorty trying to cuddle. You mean? But it could, like, some women do get it. But I'm just saying, like, some men, they don't think before they get. Some men be so horny, and I know because I used to be one of them niggas. Some men be so horny, they not. This shit up here don't even work no more. Like, this shit is just straight up. Like, ain't nothing up there working. It's just straight up, nigga. I'm trying to fuck whatever come my way, and then the shit come his way, and he yop, and then it's like, damn, I didn't even have to do that. Like, I'm really a dickhead. I hope and pray this shit don't get out nowhere. I can't even let my homies know. You feel me? That's where the post-nut clarity hit. So it's like, in the sense of, some men do have that post-nut clarity, but everything don't revert to science, though. I don't think everything got to do with science. I don't know what the fuck she on. Some of her shit be good, some of her shit be far off.
She get into the science of it all.
I know. It's
WXXL,
Going
nigga.
back to,
Just for
like-
right now,
like
though.
the
Just for right now.
anti-feminist thing, like because you are right in the fact that, like, obviously there are plenty. There's guys online are very mean to a lot of the girls in the industry, but I don't think that how people perceive you doing a thing makes that thing anti-feminist, because like they said, obviously a lot of guys like really support them and like feel like they know them on a personal level, but then yeah, there's people who like, and especially if a lot of these girls, if they go and do something after porn, there's plenty of people who are just gonna be like, oh, she's always just gonna be a porn star. So like, but I don't think that makes it inherently anti-feminist. I think that's more of just an issue on these guys and just how they're viewing women.
No, I definitely believe that it can empower women.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, like you have fans
That
that
nigga named Jason.
appreciate you and what you do. But that's like a whole different side. What he was mentioning is that there's men that do view women as an object as a result of watching porn. So it's just like, how do we direct like which way to go? Because like for me, I've viewed women as an object for a little bit of my life because that's what my idea was from watching porn, and that's pretty much all I knew. I didn't have like a natural relationship. It was all artificial. So I guess what I'm asking is how can we, empower women in a different way, and and link it back to like men appreciating women. Like,
Well, what if women don't mind being appreciated for their sexual side, That's something I don't mind. Well, for those men that come in and view me as an object, I view them as a paycheck.
I see.
So
Yeah.
Damn.
That's a bar.
I don't mind. I don't mind,
Damn.
People who come in and do value me, I also value them too, and I also ask them about how their life is going on, and a lot. To be honest, to bring up something, I'm not sure if I'm going to have a chance to bring it up. I have a lot of like functioning autistic people and stuff like that on my page who are just way too scared to get out there in public. They're hardly functioning on their own, and this is something that they can finally get their first like sexual experience with a woman. And I talk to them. It's a beneficial relationship, and I guess it just is.
She gonna put the autistic people on the spotlight. That shit fucked up, nigga. That shit crazy. She talking about some. She motivate the youth, the autistic youth. That shit insane, nigga. Everybody start off good. If you let a nigga talk for more than 30 seconds, they fuck up immediately, bro. That shit crazy as hell.
Depends on how you perceive that, if it's negative or positive. For me, I perceive it as a positive thing for them.
My work has always surrounded people on the autistic spectrum too. If they're, basically connecting themselves to you neurobiologically with dopamine, then it would be even more difficult for them to create those real-world connections.
But what is the right way to go about that then?
It's about what you feel is right or not, and we don't feel that way.
Well,
10 seconds and then-
it's not opinions that I'm talking about. These are scientific facts.
Well, you're saying what is negative? You're saying it's negative for an autistic man to have a relationship with a woman online. We don't see it that way.
What I want for people is they can connect with real human beings and have a back and forth of intimacy in the real world.
Yeah, I would love that for them.
Yeah, no,
I
I
love
totally
that.
agree with that. But I'm just curious as far as like with that, at what point does it fall on the responsibility of the sex worker itself? There are plenty of people who don't feel like they can make connections in real life and they turn to that. And I agree, like, I would always advise anyone to go out and make real connections. But if they are choosing not to, is that the responsibility
it's a
of
choice.
us?
Well, this is what I know from the people that I work with
cool.
is that, they've gone that route for a very long time and it's led them to depression and it's led them to extreme anxiety because they are trying to fill a gaping hole in an artificial way. they eventually feel empty, and they don't want to have that artificial experience anymore. They want it in real life.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. I think part of the question was, is the onus on the sex worker? Is there blame to be had on the part of the sex worker?
Oh, no, not at all. But I don't know that, enjoying taking a person away from real world connection, like you're proposing that it's a good thing that you're there for those people. Where I would contend if you weren't doing that, then they would have to, like Asher said, they'd have to get back into their life. And even though it's difficult, they would, they want it. They really want that connection. So they would start doing that instead of watching porn.
Man.
You can say that about anything, though.
To live their lives and go out there. And a lot of men come to me with confidence issues. They're like, I just had someone last week saying, like, give me your top 3 tips on confidence. And whatever came to me, I typed it out, and I was like, you do with that as you wish. And I know it's not my responsibility to like be their therapist, because I'm not. Yeah, there's a lot
that's
of
where the dopamine
loneliness.
dependency comes in, because
You can't, like, if you let some form of entertainment shape your reality, that's not on nobody else but you. You mean? I understand porn might be bad for society, but if you let, and this go for anything, especially music, if you let anything warp your whole reality to a point where you think that all this shit is real, you fucked. You mean? Let's go for anything. Let's go for games, especially shit like drill music, especially games like Call of Duty. You mean? Especially any type of movie that contains robbing, stealing. You mean? Anything? Bullying? Like, that can go for anything. Nah. Yeah, they basing it off of pure motherfuckers. You mean? Which is okay, but that can be avoided by proper parenting, my nigga. It might not be able to be avoided, but like, it's a higher chance that it can be avoided versus a parent just giving somebody an iPad and letting them explore. The motherfucker explore around the wrong website, my nigga. Now he beating his Johnny before the shit can even, you mean? Before the shit can shoot. But it's like, I'm just saying.
Because they are linked to you. Like, when partners have sex with each other, neurobiologically, they become linked through dopamine, serotonin, and oxytocin. So that's happening in an artificial way. So then they come to you for advice, where if they weren't consuming porn, they would go to their friends or their parents or their siblings or someone, at Starbucks that they connected with.
When the addiction is like so detrimental to your life that it's no longer serving you or giving you what you want, then to me, that's a problem. So like, for example, if you want a partner, right, and you keep going to the porn, and as soon as you rub it out and get that post-nut clarity, you're like, man, girls. You know what I mean, right? Like if you get to that point, that's a problem. You know what I mean, right? Because that's not what you want. But at the same time, if it's just like, you know what, I just want to feel good for a little bit. And afterwards, you're like, man, they still human beings. Like, I'm having a great day. I don't see a problem
Yeah,
with
but that's instant gratification. I actually liken pornography addiction to an eating disorder more than gambling. And it's like, if you have an eating disorder to chocolate cake with blue dye and red dye on the frosting, with all those jimmies in there that are scientifically proven to be terrible for you because of the chemicals. Like, the baker's not at fault. The baker loves baking, so I understand that, but the consumer has to go, do I want to eat this cake with the dyes?
And I want to respond to that too, because I have a nasty little sweet tooth addiction, right? Like, I used to love cake.
It's dopamine.
Danishes, all that stuff. But
Man,
I
nobody
realized
give a
I felt
fuck,
like
nigga.
shit when I was eating all that. So what
Nobody give a hell,
Next
nigga.
topic, shall we? Post-nut clarity, I'm going to be borrowing.
We worry about porn.
And
rub it out. Oh shit, what am I doing?
I've suffered from porn addiction. Will the agreeers please step forward?
My porn addiction started when I was around like my teen years, my younger teen years, 13 years old. It started from just playing Geometry Dash or just a little game on my iPad. There was an ad that popped up, and it was an ad to like an adult website, and leading into my older teens and 20s, that's where I started suffering from addiction. Just doing it every day, stuck in this loop of not understanding why I'm not, completing the things that I need to complete, and not like excelling the way that I saw myself that I needed to excel. And so started having bad relationships with my friends, my family, gone to drugs, gone into excessive alcohol consumption. And so I recognized a pattern, and I was like, I need to get out of this loop. And so I think
How the fuck did porn do all that to you to the point where you want to smoke, drink, and beat your mom up? How the fuck do porn do all that to you, my nigga? See, he the nigga that we talking about. You mean? How the fuck do porn do all this shit? That shit done destructible damage to this nigga body, gang. I ain't never heard no shit like that. This nigga say he got into arguments with his parents. About what? About what? Like, what's the possible argument that could happen with you, your mommy, and dad and porn, my nigga? That shit gotta be the most uncomfortable argument ever. This nigga crazy.
myself that I needed to excel. And so started having bad relationships with my friends, my family, gone to drugs, gone into excessive alcohol consumption. And so I recognized a pattern, and I was like, I need to get out of this loop. And so I think that thing for me was to stop watching pornography. And ever since that day, man, it's made a huge change in my life. So,
This nigga lying.
In recovery today, or how would you describe where you are now?
definitely. So I'm over a year away from fapping as a whole, and now I'm on the journey of helping other men discover, what the reason is for them watching porn or fapping in the first place, and maybe showing them an alternative way to release their energy.
I was also exposed to it pretty young, probably.
That nigga sound like the nigga off of the commercial. They be trying to promote the medicine. You're like, man, before this medicine, man, I was down and I was sad, depressed, I used to play the game every day. And then I take the medicine and now I get to play the game with my friends. I feel great. That's how he sound, gang. No bullshit. That nigga lying. No way. After you just stop porn, the sun is out, nigga, it's always a good day. Fuck all that, bro. That nigga I don't believe. You know?
An alternative way to release their energy.
I was also exposed to it pretty young, probably 12, 13. And since then, it was pretty much the primary source of sexual education that I had. I assumed that porn was the way that sex happened in real life. And, it thankfully never got to the point where I was, outwardly, abusive or anything to anybody else, but certainly changed my life for the worse. And, ever since I decided to stop doing it, pretty much everything's just been uphill.
So how would you describe where you are today?
Well, I did have somewhat of a reversion back to my religion, to Catholicism. So right now I'd say I'm, again, probably on the road to recovery. It's been quite a while since I've had to, fall back into it, but feeling and looking good right now. So.
Well, let's bring in the disagreeers, and maybe we can have a larger discussion. You can step on forward.
I actually used to be a background porn actor. So
Background porn actor?
Yeah.
What's the difference between regular and background?
So the regular folks is but but I wasn't I was just the actor in the scenes. The first scene I ever did was with Kendall Woods and Jake Adams. So it was like a Be More Like Your Stepsister scene. And I was just one of the friends of the stepbrother who ended up his sister in the scene.
Oh, wow.
But I've done like 18 different porn scenes.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, after that, I could just never.
He said, who was he in there with?
But I wasn't I was just the actor in the scenes. The first scene I ever did was with Kendall Woods and Jake Adams. So it was like a Be More Like Your Stepsister scene. And I was just one of the friends of the stepbrother who ended up his sister in the scene.
Oh, wow.
But I've done like 18 different porn scenes. Yeah. And then afterwards, after that, I could just never watch like professional porn again. I watch the scenes I'm in. But you know what I mean? Like I watched that, like, damn, I did some good acting today, you know what I mean? But so I don't have a problem with porn per se, but I do think it depends on your goal.
So, funny story, when I was growing up, well, obviously you stumble upon porn. I started watching it, and I had this deep shame about it. In high school, college, I had serious relationships for years, and I never caught any of them watching porn, but just the thought of them watching it got me so jealous and insecure. I've really worked through my own issues of feeling insecure about it, and got into the business myself. So like any argument really, I just feel like there's like so much middle ground because we're on middle ground. So that's my
There it is.
little backstory.
There it is. I'd love to hear.
She basically said, if you can't beat it, join it. She basically she said that. If my partner gonna watch somebody else, why don't I become that somebody else? She basically said that. I mean, it ain't nothing wrong with how she's thinking. Well, let's just say she thought that.
From you guys, but feel free to, it's a conversation.
I do feel like it's kind of unfortunate that, like, porn addiction doesn't really get taken that seriously for some reason, and I think you can't necessarily compare it to drug addiction, but I think you have to look at it sort of like a gambling addiction and things like that, which I had gambling addiction in the past too, and it's a lot of that mental, you know what I mean? And I've seen how it can, you know, really mess people like that compulsion with it, and it messes up their personal sex lives and stuff. So I do sympathize with that, and yeah,
Damn,
I
with
do
him,
think
yo.
it needs to be a discussion more about the serious of the addiction aspect of it.
What I found
He's
in the
spitting.
neuroscience research is that young people, kids, find porn and then the seeds of addiction are planted then, so nobody identifies with the idea of addiction, and you even mentioned compulsion. So, you know, use kind of transitions to abuse and then compulsion, and then addiction shows up later on, and usually, you know, when it's pretty late for a person by the time they identify this is a full-blown addiction.
Yeah, truthfully, I feel like more people probably have a problem with it than they even realize or like admit to it. Because even like a lot of like on the fan platforms and stuff, like the people that we talk to, like the fans and stuff, some of them are like, brother, you probably gotta relax a little bit. But like, and it's nothing against. I love my job. I love this industry in so many ways. But I think it's important to acknowledge the fact that like some people probably shouldn't be consuming this because it's just not. It doesn't work for their brain. For
Yeah,
whatever reason.
and you're totally right. It's a dopamine dependency
Yeah.
that's linked to sexuality. So the context of gambling is very much the same in terms of the.
I fuck with him, yo. He the only reason I feel like he one of the most reasonable porn stars I ever heard of in my life. Nigga, this nigga think about him and his fans. The nigga think about the health of his community. That's fire. No, the nigga right here. The girl, I mean, she's spitting, but he been spitting the whole time. She started talking about some autism shit. You mean? So she probably like 8.5 or 9 for 10. But my nigga right here shooting threes. I'm saying he's shooting greens from around the court. I ain't gonna lie. He gliding.
Neurobiological mechanism. So you're spot on with that it's the dopamine they're addicted to from sex. You know, someone would have enjoyed sexuality, healthier sexuality, which has its own definitions with a partner, instead of, you know, fetishes and things that are very high dopamine producing.
So let me say something. At first, I said it depends on your goal, right? So, like, for example, I don't want to watch porn because when I used to rub it out, I used to feel like, damn, like, I'd rather be with a real person right now, you know what I mean? So it was fucking with my confidence, my ego, and all that. But by going no fat for literally a whole year, I still got needs. So I was forced to go out there and go meet people, and I was meeting women. You know what I mean? So it was real experiences versus just the computer screen. So it really depends on your goal.
All right, let's move on to the next topic,
I
guys.
feel that.
NoFap leads to more loyalty in relationships. Agreeers, please step forward. I'm hearing a lot of chuckles. This is fun.
I feel like the loyalty, mainly it remained in like my relationships with other people, not just my friends, but just like my partners that I had previously. I definitely felt like it's like kind of like cheating, right? You get with a person, or at least I did, you know, to gain a connection, pleasure and knowledge, wisdom, whatnot, right? But I feel like once you find it elsewhere or know that you can get it from yourself, would you even need the other person? And so I guess that would disrupt the loyalty in the sense of like, you don't really need anyone else. You don't need that connection. So why do you have to be loyal to someone else?
I disagree. You mean when I was in when I used to watch porn while being in a relationship, I never thought I'm gonna replace my shorty with my hand. That's goofy as fuck. If you ever think that, that's actually dumb as shit. You mean? But actually, he don't have a point at all. You mean? I don't think he has a point. I think he missed entirely. But this nigga been saying some outlandish shit too. You mean? Yeah, but like, come on, gang. I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with what he's saying. I think he missed with this joint.
I am of the opinion, and I'm assuming he would be too, is that any amount of pornography is by definition a breach in loyalty of a committed romantic relationship between two people, because essentially what you're doing is you are replacing the person that you are with for good reasons and replacing them with essentially just a distorted image of a sexual object in order to satisfy yourself instead of fully loving them.
Got it.
There's a reason.
Not really replacing anything.
Love
though.
is associated with loyalty, or loyalty is associated with love, not lust. And I feel like a lot of the porn industry is lust-based more than love. So,
Duh.
like I said, like therefore, it would be more
Yeah,
more
there's-
loyalty and love together.
Got it. Let's bring the disagreeers in, because I feel some rumbling of disagreement, and I would really like to. And
I could hear it. I could hear
Yeah,
it.
and I encourage
They
you guys
itching
to
to
feel free to
speak.
interrogate each other's positions, because we're here to learn. We're here
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
expand our own thoughts. So,
I'm both, to be
oh,
honest.
fascinating.
Can
Tell
I
us
be?
more.
Can I
Tell us
be?
more. Yeah.
I think it could help a relationship for sure. Maybe, you know, it
Dan
would
Dangler.
help to focus on that one person. But I also think that it can also help a relationship in the opposite way of things, where it could, maybe I'm busy and I can't provide that to my partner and I don't want them to look elsewhere.
Yep.
So feel free to use online, you know, if you want to have that little sexual experience for that time, you know, that's fine with me personally. So I think it's, you know, I think it's a give and a take. It can be either one depending on your relationship.
I think in a lot of ways it varies relationship to relationship. A lot of partners aren't going to care if their partner watches porn sometimes, and it doesn't make them a worse partner. It doesn't mean that they won't satisfy their partner in other ways or like really fully commit to them. But I also think that there is a big aspect to it of like if you're constantly seeking that pleasure elsewhere instead of your partner, then obviously there's a problem with that. But I think it's just way too complicated of an issue to like boil it down to just like, oh, this makes you a more loyal partner than.
I don't think it's
That
nothing
nigga
wrong with it. Just find
spitting,
somebody that match your
man.
kink.
That
That's
nigga
all I-
spitting.
Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
that's
Somebody that match your
Going
kink.
along
That's it to it.
I agree with you in that
Oh my God, every man named Santana is gay. That nigga named Santana XXL. Damn. I never met a nigga named Santana that wasn't gay. Damn, that shit crazy. That was just a little sidebar. I mean, that was OT, but you mean?
there's a measure called emotional intelligence. So emotionally intelligent or emotionally mature people want loyalty in a partner. And love comes in 3 phases, going back to what you were saying. There's lust, romantic love, and bonded love. And I've been married for 23 years. So 23 years later in marriage, you have bonded love because, you know, the crap's hit the fan lots of times. You don't stay together just for a great sex life, you know. You stay together because you've weathered the storm together. So, like, emotionally intelligent people want that loyalty in a partner. It's kind of like, you know, 2 alcoholics. 2 alcoholics can have a blast drinking, but that doesn't make them 2 healthy people.
Interesting. I hear some
Some rumblings.
So, so me being with a partner and like us watching porn together, like that, you compare that to us being 2 alcoholics.
Yeah, to a certain extent.
Just
I
because we
just
want to
disagree
spice
with
it up
that.
a little, we just want to watch other
Yeah,
people
because
have sex.
it's still objectification. Like, if you're watching other people have sex, you are no longer having a sexual experience in and of itself. Like, it takes you out of the present and it puts you into fantasy. Fantasy is hypersex.
She a pillow princess. Okay, Miss Doctor here. Miss Doctor here. She ain't getting that dick. Let's just keep it to me. I mean, she ain't getting no dick for real. She ain't getting no dick for real. You mean? She ain't getting nothing. You feel me? Cause what makes you think if me and my partner choose to watch sex together? I mean, choose to watch porn together. You think that we gonna hop out our body to live in them? What the fuck? Like I don't even know what she mean by. I don't even know what she mean by that though. I don't even know what she mean by that. You mean? So it's like, but I'm not gonna lie. She's speaking that bullshit. Feel me? I think if a man and a woman together decide to watch porn on any given, that me personally, my opinion, that might make the sex life better. Especially if it's bland already. If it's bland, it might make it better. Depending on if niggas want to try new shit. You mean? It just depends on how niggas is. You gotta keep an open mind all the time. In a relationship, that's how shit is healthy. You gotta keep an open mind. I think her husband cheating on her ass. And if he ain't, that nigga lame to you. Feel me?
Sexualized, which means in your experience with your partner, you're looking for level 15 dopamine instead of the happiness trifecta. And so a lot of people are doing that, and they're trying to get, maximum pleasure out of a sexual experience with their partner, but that means you don't get to enjoy that rounded out experience.
Some things can just be for fun, you know what I mean? I don't think it makes it less intimate. If a couple is watching porn together, I don't think that makes their regular sex life less intimate. If they just want to spice things up one night, have fun. It's the same, sometimes couples who have never done bondage before, they might do it one night, and then that's I'm sure that's a lot of dopamine, a huge rush on that particular night because it's trying something new. But it doesn't mean that now they can't have regular sex experiences with their partner. I don't see why.
It's like having a French meal. You're having this really rounded, beautiful meal, but then you've got a huge piece of chocolate cake over here.
If a couple is watching...
What the fuck was that analogy? What was that? What is she saying? Oh my God, I was on her side in the beginning, but she gave me tea.
Porn together, chooses to watch porn together sometimes. That's always unhealthy?
I think so, based on, the scientific studies. It means you're going for this rush from think about a natural experience doesn't include a screen with other people. That makes it an unnatural experience. So generally speaking, things that are healthy for us are the natural things that exist in our present real world life. Then, when you use porn, you're trying to ramp that experience up on steroids. And, a lot of the people I work with, when they stop doing that, they have such fulfillment with their partner.
Are you saying that say I got married, am I not allowed to think anyone else is attractive other than my partner? Is that cheating?
No. I mean, obviously, if you see someone attractive, you think they're attractive, but that's different than lusting. Lusting, I work with a lot of people who are attempting to find other people attractive instead of lusting after every person who walks by them on the street. And again, it goes back to dopamine. So maybe you don't have it, because again, I don't know what your brain is doing. If you see a person and they're attractive, it just registers on the nervous system like this, like a tap. But for people with lusting, that person walks by and they're thinking, the dopamine's flowing in their brain, they cannot stop thinking about that person. It's lust, hypersexuality.
I personally think my partner should be allowed to if they're feeling like they need to masturbate, go do it. If you need to watch porn and do that, I'm not like I said, when I was younger, a teenager, I was really insecure, and I couldn't handle the fact that any of my partners thought that someone else was attractive, because I had really deep-seated issues, and I worked through those.
I am curious too, as far as maybe the other side of that, as well as maybe sheltering yourself off too much in a relationship. Could that not cause, I guess, this over curiosity that causes you to end up just sort of breaking and being unloyal?
Yeah, hyposexuality, do you mean?
Yeah, I think I feel like there's also an argument to be made that kind of sheltering yourself out from not masturbating and only looking at this or not looking at this partner, but not masturbating at all, not having any other release other than with a partner. That can sort of your curiosity as far as okay, what is life without this partner be like, and then it could drive you to cheat maybe.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because you use the word release, as does Asher here a lot, by the way. So the idea of, release is a hypersexual thought in and of itself. You have to, again, one of my mentors said nobody ever died from not masturbating.
No, of course, but I'm saying, but it still happens. It's how people think. It's how it happens. So if you're completely shutting yourself off from personal self-pleasure, could that not happen as far as just
Definitely, and when it comes to NoFap, and I told Ryan this when we started, I don't know if I really anchor into the idea of NoFap, because I really anchor into the idea of healthy sexuality. And when you think of they call it monk mode, where people just go no sexuality. So I joke with people all the time, I'm going to tell you the scariest thing in the whole world: communicate with your partner. What you like and what you find exciting, and then do all of those things. And some women are hyposexual, some men are hyposexual. It's about figuring it out, and so I think closing yourself off definitely isn't the way to do it either.
Sometimes it'd be hard. We're gonna react to the rest of the video, and then I'm gonna go pray, and we all outlast. sometimes it'd be hard to communicate that with your partner. I've experienced this. Sometimes it'd be hard to communicate that with your partner because motherfuckers really do get insecure sometimes. You mean? Like, if you want to try something new, if you want to spice some shit up, they be like, damn, like, what I'm doing not good enough. It don't even be that. But it just be like, damn, like, we probably been in a relationship for a while. I mean, let me spice it up. Let me do this, let me do that. And motherfuckers genuinely be like, taking that shit personal. So communication is very much easier said than done. But motherfuckers forget that it's a two-way street, you mean? And sometimes that motherfucker be a dead end. So it's like, you mean? But if it's possible, then shit, why not? Feel me?
I love sex. Agreeers, please step forward.
This is one I can get behind.
Saying, I would say yes, of course. I love sex in the sense that it is the.
This is one I can get behind.
Saying, I would.
That nigga. That nigga, yo, he was addicted to porn. And all of a sudden, he don't love sex, gang. I think everybody in the world loves sex, gang. I think he might be reasonable because this nigga worked in the porn industry. He had to watch that shit behind the scenes, so it's like, it is what it is. But this nigga, nah, nigga. I think everybody love it, gang.
I would say yes, of course. I love sex in the sense that it is the natural, procreative action that brings together two people in a love so intense that it actually forms another human being if everything goes to plan.
That's why I stepped forward.
Yeah, I was about to say, what brought you in? Yeah.
Yeah, just like, that's the true intimacy, that's the true love. Like, that's what I believe sex was designed for, was to, have partners show love to each other and bring another human being into this world.
Other thoughts? You love sex.
I love sex. Sex is awesome. Sex is awesome, man.
Yep.
Sex rocks. Now, obviously I'm in this industry, but I've had a girlfriend for 4 years as well. She's also in the industry. So I've had plenty of meaningless sex, and I've had plenty of sex, and I will choose sex with my partner over anything, always.
Like, just like with love, there's so many different kinds of love.
Right.
There's a lot of different kinds of sex you can have, and I think they're all fun. And even like back in the day, like there were like, I'm going into like the spirituality stuff, but there'd be groups of women that would have sex with each other, like sisterhoods. And like that wasn't for procreation. So.
I want to be in part of that, sister.
gotta start reading some books.
Sorry, I love everything about sex. Porn, filming porn, everything. How the way I feel when I'm having sex, how the way I'm being touched with having sex, the intimacy, the touch, the feel, everything. I just love it. Yeah.
So like your brain will literally attune to your partners, and attachment theory, you become attached to your partner, and we know evolutionarily, like going back to the evolution piece, that this is what made people stick together and then create tribes for safety and procreation so that it's pleasurable too. And I've had 5 children, so it has to be pleasurable or you would literally never do it again, and there'd be nobody here on earth, so, it's important.
And it is, you're in sort of the most vulnerable state you can be with another person. And it's just everything going through your mind and just the way it's making your body feel. And you build so much trust in a short amount of time just off of that vulnerability of being in that environment with that person.
I love that. Do you feel that on set too?
That nigga's
I do.
yeah,
I do.
I don't.
I have.
In
I
a lot of
personally don't
different
feel
ways. As far as attachment, things like that, I really only feel that with my partner, with my girlfriend. But as far as the trust and things like that, especially on set, and I guess it's a little different because we're performing, so we do have to have that trust as far as I will respect what you want me to do, what you don't want me to do. I won't hurt you. We won't hurt each other. We will make a good scene. We're here to do a job, and that's it. And I'm not going to be
a strong working relationship.
Yeah.
Right?
So
like any.
So it is different in that way. I don't feel like genuine connections as far as like on a deeper level, I guess.
I usually can't even get off for the person on set. It's an acting job for me when it comes to my pro scenes. When it comes to my personal side, that's a different, that's a whole different story. But yeah, it's
can't get off is
completely
insane,
different for me.
Let's get our lone disagreeer here. I'm really looking forward to hearing what you have to say.
Don't get me wrong, like, I enjoy sex, right? But when I hear, like, I love sex, it's not so much the sex I love, it's more so the connection. So, like, even when, like, porn got ruined for me, it's like when I realized how fake it was or how professional it is, it's like, damn, I used to think it was real.
Yeah.
So I was looking for women like that, you know what I mean, right? But it's just like, girls ain't like this for real, for real. I broke up with my ex 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago. And so when she finally moved out the house, like I just wanted to feel something. So I just went on this little like whole phase. Because I remember in December, there was this one girl, well, we was having sex. Like I remember like just mid-stroke, I was like, damn, like what are you doing? You know what I mean? I just felt bad and there was no real connection. And then after that, like I stopped my little whole phase and was like looking for the real thing.
Taking into consideration the whole conversation we've had today, let's see if we can find a middle ground, something everybody can agree on. Feel free to pitch something.
I think everyone needs therapy.
I personally think maybe like you have to find whether or not something is abusive or not for yourself, if that makes sense. Like if you're compulsive, finding that issues.
Know your limits.
I guess finding out what you're missing in yourself that's making you so dependent on something else is the biggest thing.
It's not as easy as to just make it like this black and white thing. It's just, okay, one side bad, one side good, one side healthy, one side unhealthy. I think it really is a case-by-case basis. And if there is any sense of like reliance or preferment over online things versus regular connections, obviously that's a bad thing. But I don't think it's as simple to just be like, okay, it's bad because some people have a problem with it.
I believe the middle ground is that it's on the consumer and not the the person that's putting it out. So it's really up to us to really learn, like, is it for us? Like, is that what the ideal lifestyle that I want to have? Like, does that fit in it?
I don't know if I agree with that one, to be
Okay.
honest, because, like I said, it's kids, and you all said you found porn
Okay,
when you were
kids.
young, and so, brains aren't developed then, so
That's
you're
very true.
asking a 10-year-old to be able to decide what they can consume or not, and
I see.
Is a 10-year-old?
Yeah, and I hear that too.
But I don't think
Yeah.
I don't think kids should watch porn at all.
No.
Facts.
But that is generally who finds porn, and we know that young people are the #1 consumers of porn.
I meant like people over the age of 18. Like that's what I meant to say, not like children, because there's definitely a big issue there. I guess we can also agree on that as well. Is like it's
Yeah.
too accessible to people on screens, and that it even gets out to children. I think that
Yeah.
we need to solve a problem towards that.
100%.
Totally.
100%.
I love that. That's great.
So one of the things we all agree on is that kids shouldn't be watching porn.
Yeah,
Yes.
P18 and above.
Yeah,
please.
and that's something like porn people get blamed for a lot. They're like, oh, the kids. It's like, dude, like kids don't have credit
Watch
cards.
your, watch your kids.
We don't want them watching.
What about the children?
It serves no benefit to us at all.
It's on the
Like,
parents.
Yeah, on this side, anything else y'all want to throw out there that maybe everybody can agree on?
For me, my middle ground is do whatever works for you. That's it.
I like it.
Do whatever
Responsibly.
works for you.
I was just going to list off some things that I think we all agree on,
okay.
which is
Go for it.
porn addiction is bad.
Yep.
Yes.
Replacing your partner with pornography is bad. Sex is a beautiful thing. We can all, I think, agree on that. I think, at least for me, those are the 3 things that resonate the most.
Any disagreement?
No.
Sounds like we found a middle ground. Yeah. Congratulations, guys. Yeah. We can fist
W Catholic.
fist bump. We can.
I know.
Yes.
I'm not as sweaty as I thought.
I was like,
There we go. Yeah.
Damn. Yo, this shit was a good ass video. You ain't took us a long fucking time. Shit. W Ved though. Feel me? If you went to porn, my nigga, do it responsibly. I ain't gonna tell niggas stop watching porn. I ain't gonna tell niggas stop doing nothing. I don't even tell niggas in the streets stop being in the streets. But know your limits. Do it responsibly, my nigga. And if you feel as though it's taking over your life, maybe you should stop. You feel me? Zills, what's the word, broski? WVid, we on to the next, nigga. Alright?